Welcome back to Crawford-Clark Close-Up and our Pixar season of reviews. We're almost coming to the end of our Pixar season, but we've still got a ranking of the Pixar short films. Not often as appreciated as they should be, Pixar short films date back to the original, The Adventures of Andre and Wally B from 1984, up to their current release in front of this summer's The Incredibles 2, and already well acclaimed by critics. Bow. So we'll be taking a look back over all of them and ranking our top 20 Pixar short films. So, without further ado, let's get started. Pixar's first animation test, and the studio in literally their most primitive form. The first short runs for just over a minute and sees Andre waking up and being pursued by a bee. It's straightforward but incredible to see how computer animation could look in its earliest form. Celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, Pixar's fourth animated short is clearly the inspiration for terrified toys in the Toy Story franchise. A grotesquely animated baby is in pursuit of a tin toy to play with, and the toy is desperately trying to escape. Pixar's 18th animated short goes with an aptly nautical theme as it was attached to Finding Dory on its theatrical run. Piper tells the story of a baby bird trying to learn from his mother how to seek food and fend for himself. It's a sweet but slight Pixar short and one of the weaker ones in recent memory. Pixar's 7th animated short was released theatrically with Monsters Inc., and whilst the animation is once again very crisp, the narrative this time is a little too straightforward. Released to coincide with the release of Pixar's Cars in 2006, One Man Band is about two solo musicians vying for the attention and gold coin of a little girl. It's a well-animated, if slightly uninspiring short compared to the greats we've come to expect from this studio. Released theatrically with Pixar's The Good Dinosaur in 2015, this is the only Pixar short to be based on a true story of its writer, who spoke to Pixar chief John Lasseter about his experiences as a child growing up contending with his father's Hindu rituals. One of the shortest runtimes of a Pixar short, this is colourful and has a lovely message about family and culture. Though still an impressive animated short, this is one of the lesser of the Pixar shorts, as two umbrellas and their respective humans find each other in a bustling city on a rainy night. Pixar are back to animating inanimate objects, and it's a sweet premise that could have just had a bit more bite. 6 years before the release of their first fully animated feature Toy Story came Pixar's 5th animated short, Knick Knack. A snowman in a snow globe is jealous of the fun the other toys are having, so tries every possible way to escape from the snow globe. He thinks he's done it, until he falls into a goldfish bowl. A smart, engaging short film with a kooky score. The short was released theatrically 14 years later with the studio's Finding Nemo in 2003. Released theatrically with Pixar's 2004 feature The Incredibles, Boundin' is the only Pixar short to date to have an actor's voice narrating whilst singing. The tune is extremely catchy, and the jackalope and sheep are both well animated. There's also a great message here about being yourself regardless of what other people might think. Pixar's 3rd animated short, and after only 3 years you can tell that the studio were trying to push more technical boundaries. Red is a unicycle with a 50% off tag around its neck in a bike shop on a rainy night, dreaming of performing with a clown for an appreciative crowd. Pixar bring the pathos as Red wakens from his dream, bowing to the other bikes in the shop at the end of the performance, realising that he's only been dreaming. It's a clever little short that even back in Pixar's early days was tugging at our heartstrings. The first Pixar short to use elements of the score from the studio's current feature film at the time, which was Up. Pixar were well aware that Michael Giacchino's score from the opening of Up would work brilliantly in invoking the sadness and also the sense of hope and companionship between the bird and the cloud, who also provides the worst gifts. This is a tender, beautifully animated short. Released to accompany Pixar's Brave in cinemas, La Luna is probably the most gorgeously animated of all the Pixar shorts, with the bright hues of the stars and the night sky looking stunning. The story is slight, but the visuals make up for it. The score for this short is probably the best of all the Pixar shorts, from Michael Giacchino once again. Pixar's first foray into the sci-fi genre next, which makes you wonder why they didn't release this short theatrically with WALL-E instead of Ratatouille. This is creative, funny and engaging throughout, and showcases greater animated techniques than we've seen up to this point from the Pixar short films. Pixar's 16th animated short, released with Inside Out in 2015, is undoubtedly one of the most dividing amongst audiences. Some despise the sentimentality and the song itself, while others find the animation some of the best from Pixar, and the short itself to be endearing. Crawford-Clark Close-Up falls into the latter camp. 2015 proved to be a winning year for Pixar. The highest placing on our ranking of the most recent Pixar shorts is Lou, a charming, beautifully animated story that goes back to the fundamentals of Pixar, reuniting owners with their belongings. It's been essential in Pixar since the beginning, and this is one of the most engaging Pixar shorts in recent years. With only their second animated short, Pixar prove that they are pioneers in the field as they bring to life inanimate objects, in this case an adult lamp and a baby lamp, the latter of the two obsessed with a rubber ball. The sequence is an ambitious follow-up to Andre and Wall-E B, and would become the inspiration for the studio's trademark logo that now comes as tradition at the beginning of each Pixar movie. The short wasn't released theatrically for 13 years, until its release in front of Toy Story 2. From director Jan Pinkava comes Pixar's 6th animated short, and one of their very best. Toy Story had just recently been released, so Pixar were clearly revelling in its success, and the only character in this short, Jerry, would even appear in Toy Story 2, 2 years after the release of this short. In the space of 13 years since their first short film, the animation has clearly come on leaps and bounds, and Jerry leaps from the screen, as does the animated surroundings of the park. It's a clever, amusing short film, and would find a theatrical release just a year later in front of A Bug's Life. Coming in at number 3 in our ranking of the Pixar shorts is the very newest short film from first-time Pixar director but previous Pixar story artist collaborator Domi Shi, which tells the story of a Chinese-Canadian woman who makes dumplings called bao for dinner for she and her husband. Her husband hurriedly scoffs the dinner down, but when the woman goes to take a bite, the little dumpling comes alive and protests. What follows is a funny and beautifully accurate montage of the dumpling growing up with a surrogate human mother, becoming a teenager and defying his mother before bringing a girlfriend home to meet his mother. We won't spoil how the short story ends in case you're yet to see Pixar's newest gem, but it's at once a shocking and poignant ending with a clever twist that you don't see coming. It's no wonder that Pixar have audiences emotional over this new short film. It's beautifully animated, the score is a delight from composer Toby Chew, and we can see a bright future ahead for this director with Pixar and beyond. A very sweet, engaging 8-minute treat. It's Bao at number 3. In second place, from arguably the greatest year yet for Pixar, 2010's superb Day and Night debuted theatrically with Toy Story 3 and proved that visuals and a political message can go together harmoniously. Embrace difference despite the fact that change is always difficult to accept. The animation in Day and Night is stellar, and there's really only one Pixar short where everything comes together even better than this. At the top of the pile, and still without a shadow of a doubt the most technically outstanding, funny and entertaining of all the Pixar shorts to date, and also celebrating its 10th anniversary this year, Presto is a marvel, with the magician and the bunny playing off each other brilliantly. Proof that Pixar need to do slapstick more often. This short was released theatrically with WALL-E, a triumphant year for Pixar. All cliches out the window. In short, it's magic. So, what do you think of our ranking of the Pixar short films? Would you have them in a different order? Perhaps we've been overly appreciative of some of the ones that you'd have near the bottom of your list. Make your opinions heard in the comments below, and please subscribe if you like this video. Keep checking out our Pixar season of reviews. We've got plenty more to come, including our ranking of all the Pixar films to date. Thanks for watching, and until next time, that's a wrap.